Hello everyone, my name is AK and you're watching the Storyteller Productions channel. Welcome to episode 2 of Writing a Novel with me. If you guys haven't seen episode 1, it will be in the iCard above. I know I went over this in episode 1, but I am an aspiring writer. And I thought it would be really interesting to put something out there that I haven't seen before, but I thought it would be really interesting and good practice for me and a break from the book I'm actually writing. On the last episode, we created the characters and the moral and the premise. And in this episode, I was planning on laying out the story, like what happens, where characters go, setting up the characters a bit more securely, what their fears and desires are, and how they're going to grow at the end of the story. Let's get into the video. So the only thing that I currently have is their fears and their desires. We know that Jason is beloved mayor of a small town, although he's still single at the age of 47. I don't remember doing that. Holy moly! You're gonna be 37. I never lost sight of what was truly important and surrounded by friends and family galore. The thing I'm thinking is that basically he wants what she has and she wants what he has. And then this is work in progress. This is what I've been brainstorming. They both get what the other one has, but that takes them in different paths and then somehow it brings them back together. So Jason, he wants to make a difference. He fears being forgotten by society or history. Or both. Georgia, I don't remember what her want is, but her fear is being alone for the rest of her life. What does she want? She wants a family, wants to settle down. He believes that if you don't make a big difference or change the world in some way, you're not living up to your full potential. Basically, George's belief is that in the world, if you go out into the world, you're this tiny fish among the big fishes. You don't have a voice. It's almost more successful to make a big difference in a few people's lives rather than to make a little difference in a lot of people's lives. Jason, I think the reason that he parts ways with her is she settles down in a small town and he becomes like a senator or something. He's already 37 and they're going to be separated for a long period of time, so I don't know. This is going to be like one of those sweet romances that ends with them finally getting together when they're old. Kind of sad. Which means she's alone. Unless, I was thinking possibly she adopted. So she sees his life and says, the people in a small town, you've known them your entire life, they trust you. You know, you have a much bigger influence on their life and you're doing great things for this town. He understands that somebody has to be senator. So unless it's good people taking those places, then that means bad people take those places. And if bad people take those places, then bad things happen and it doesn't matter who's mayor. So he's seeing the big picture, which is what she used to see until she went out into the world and realized how it really comes down to one-on-one relationships. Georgia believes that, a big fish doesn't have a voice among the... Oh, a big fish, a little fish. Little fish doesn't have a voice among the big fish, and influencing a few people in a great way is better than influencing a lot of people in a small way. I also need a flaw, so it's flaws / weaknesses. I'm also realizing that these are the only 2 characters I've created. Here I'm going to kind of do story building a little bit because now I know they meet. Georgia was passing through and fell in love with Jason. They date for a while until Jason starts his campaign to become senator. Something brings them back together. Jason becomes senator if they went on to marry somebody else. I don't know. Georgia starts. This is a working story and orphanage. In my head, when I see her young, she's like adventurous. When I see her old, it's like she's the mother of all these children and she's an impact in their life. And they were like living on the street or something. I don't know, they wouldn't be living on the street in today's society. Maybe she started with like a place for the kids to go after school. And he'd help them with their homework or something. And then it ended up becoming an orphanage. I don't know. What brings them back together though? This is where my new writing technique comes in. This is the one that I've been using on the book I'm writing now, which is questions. What brings them back together? Okay, well, the one-liner changed. What's more important, influencing the masses or influencing one person? Is your life any less important because you chose to do one or the other? How to deal with being in love with somebody who's going in a different place than you? Does that mean you sacrifice your dream, or does that mean you stay focused and you sacrifice your relationship? Okay, I just need to write down what I do know. We meet. At this point, Georgia is still obsessed with the big picture. Life is too short to spend it all in one place. Jason has watched his friends all leave chasing dreams and then finding their way back home. Then they fall in love. Georgia has seen the entire world, obviously not, that's an exaggeration, but whatever, and never seen a place like this. She had been ignoring the feeling of loneliness that was growing inside her every time, okay, we'll do that, every time she saw a family. So there's probably going to be some miscommunication because she falls in love with Jason with the idea of settling down. However, she was not the only one listening during their conversation. Surprise, surprise. Her talk of helping people, because she was like, I think she's kind of sort of a missionary, but like a solo missionary. So like she goes to travel, but then while she's there she helps, like volunteers wherever she goes, something like that. And seeing the world reignite, an old dream of his. As a kid he wanted to become president, but as an adult he ended up getting stuck at the mayor position. Jason brings up the desire to run for senator. Georgia is surprised. They disagree and go their separate ways. I wonder if she voted for him because now she's in this district. Okay, then Jason, I mean obviously hers was the deciding vote. That would be well, okay, romantic stories don't make sense anyway, so I could throw that in there where it was like a deciding vote and there's like tension in the story of being like and he's sitting there on the edge and she's standing there on the other side. Okay, we're putting it in there. We can take it out later if we don't like it. After her vote, Jason becomes senator. Okay, there's a kid. And I just realized that if she has some orphanage or something inspired her to do that specifically. And I think she was probably working on it before he started running for senator. So her story arc is happening a little bit faster than his. Okay, so I'm thinking that she meets a kid. She probably meets this kid before she meets him. Through the kid, she meets him. Probably because, like, when she first met him, she thought he was a good kid, and then she finds out that he's getting into stuff after school. I'm kind of thinking, like, follow me boys kind of thing. Maybe she starts hanging out with him, and then he starts bringing some of his friends. You know what? His name's gonna be Kid. Somehow. How does he lead her to Jason? What if, like, she's at the park? She sees him alone, so she sits down and talks to him. He had a appointment with Jason to, like, practice. He's on the baseball team, and Jason offered to help him. Now, why would Jason know this kid? Probably because Jason's the one who started the baseball team. Let's say this town is so small that they didn't even have stuff like that before. So, or they couldn't afford it. So they had football or something like that, but they didn't have baseball, so he got the baseball team started. Let's say he's the coach. Why not? So then maybe instead of that... No, okay, it can be a scene later where she goes to the game for Kid and then... Okay, so So he offered to help him after he got off work. Do mares ever get off work? I feel like they're there 24/7. Now this is where we're going to show that he's not single because he's shy. Because he's not shy. In my head, he's very... I mean, he's the mayor. If he got to be mayor, it means he's outgoing, charismatic. Everyone likes him. He can't be shy. So he's not shy. So there's another reason he's single, which is probably just because he hasn't met the right person. And Jason asks her out. They talk, and he asks her out again. They go sailing. Having a kiss on the second date to me, especially it's like the third day you know each other. That's a little early, but I feel like in a romance it's not. And she needs a reason to stay. And like he's her only, well, not only that, but she's also looking to settle down now. I feel like she sees something. She needs to see something specifically now. It's not something she has seen in the past that she's reminded of. She needs to see something now that triggers that realization of loneliness. He lives in the same town with his family, so maybe they go over for dinner after sailing. They go sailing and then go to the beach after for dinner with his... Well, actually, it'd probably be like a group gathering, like a church gathering. Being surrounded by all the families from the... families and friends, honestly. She's just lonely. Wakes her up to the realization that she is lonely. Thing is, she's been living in a motel this whole time, which is fine. But if she's going to stay, then she probably gets a job. That's the next thing. She gets a job on a fishing boat. Okay, my battery is about to die and my card is almost full. That is a lot of stuff to edit. Like, I mean, I think I've been here for about an hour doing stuff like that, and I know that's not the entire story, but we've got some of it worked out. So this will be like part 1 of figuring out the story layout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas, if you would like to put your input into the story, or if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, please comment them down below. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, and if you would like to see more from me, both writing, if you would like to see even more, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at AK Swashbuckler. Until next time, tschüss!